mic. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
You're on.
Hey! Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Friday group, the Teachers of God Online Spiritual Center. Welcome, live streamers. We're happy to have you with us today. And do you like the clouds? Isn't that a nice? Yeah, they've been put away for a couple of years. We used those as a backdrop when we were over at the Hampshire Conference Center over in Seabrook. We were there for, I want to say, almost a year, 8 months maybe. But anyway, I love the background. I pulled it out of the storage and thought it would look nice here. Yeah, it's got a nice kind of a bright look. And also, this is a great teaching tool. The blue, of course, represents the clear presence, the clear blue sky, the clear presence. And a lot of Advaita Eastern teachers teach with that metaphor, using the sky as the backdrop of awareness. The sky is the backdrop of pure consciousness. And the clouds is the phenomenal world, or thoughts, feelings, emotions, experiences. Everything that happens in time and space is just like a floating cloud, and this is a great metaphor for that. And you know, I'm recording the workbook lessons of the course. I'm on workbook lesson 250, and I'm noticing, you know, Jesus uses terms in the course like, would a shadow cover the sun from shining? Is that possible? And it's sort of like this metaphor that, and he's talking about thoughts. He's talking about being limited in your thought system. And is that possible? And it's not. It's not possible that a thought can overshadow what is aware of it. It's impossible. And in fact, I've said this many times before, you cannot have an experience, can't happen without awareness being present. And when you look for the meaning of what Jesus says, and also the New Testament and Old Testament, when it says to go within, that is going within. That is totally what going within is. Because I used to try to go, okay, what is going within? Does that mean I need to close my eyes? Okay, close the ears. All of that doesn't mean going within. Going within is standing present as the sky. It's what the Holy Spirit does when it says, when it looks on the illusion and judges not. That's the whole correction. It's what salvation is. It's all of those things is the same thing as awareness. And that's my pet peeve. I feel it always will be. Not really a pet peeve. It's absolutely necessary for Christ's vision. You can't have Christ's vision if you're giving attention to the object. Jesus says to calmly relax and look beyond this illusion. And he's talking about the same thing. It's the experience of being present in awareness. Did anyone hit that accident on 95 coming this way? It was a big accident. I just passed it. It looked like it was going to be there for a few hours coming this way. Yeah. So I'm wondering if anyone else hit the accident that I did. A couple of announcements. I'm going to be sharing this morning. I didn't have a chance to put any words on these three circles, but there's sort of a trinity happening right here. You'll see in a minute. I'll write a few things during the meet and greet, but I'm going to be talking about making decisions. There's a section in the course in chapter 30 that in the text that's called Rules for Decision, and I misunderstood that for many years. In fact, I quoted from it in a misunderstanding, out of context, really, for many years. I'm going to clear that up this morning, and I think you'll be happy to see what what else goes with that that's right before chapter 30, or right before rules for decision. There's some important content that leads up to rules for decision that says, today I will make no decisions by myself. I'll make all my decisions with God. And it almost looks like, in fact, I've even said it when Lisa and I were teaching prosperity classes here, I used that phrase as an intro into almost like manifesting. So, because it gives some language in there that think about the kind of day that you want and know that there is a way that it can happen just like that. And Jesus, those are his words. And if you can take that one way and you can make it sound like, oh, I can have the day I want, just like that. Well, that's not exactly what it means, and I'll explain that in a few minutes. A seat, everyone, please. And before we get started with what I'm going to share this morning, welcome everyone that came in during the meet and greet. Namaste. Namaste. Who is doing the thought for the day? We have the gratitude thing over there. Somebody's got it in the bookmark. Oh, the guy getting the water is doing that? Okay.
Being very good.
Huh? Okay, sorry. You got to stay over here in view. Thank you. I'm going to invite awesome Andy up to do our thought for the day. Thank you, brother. Yeah. Thank you for that. We'll be right back with Andy Kimball. He's over here on the sideline. I guess we're a little bit informal here today.
It's August. What else?
Oh, I better turn my...
Hello? I don't know if you can hear me now.
We can with the mic.
Okay. Today's date is August 10th, I think. The quote for today comes from Matthew Engelhart. Whatever you protect, you lose. And the question of the day for everyone is, how are you an artist? An artist? I'm not an artist, but you all are. So,
What are you protecting?
I'm protecting you. I'm done. Bill's next. Bye.
Okay. No one is... we don't have someone to intro Bill Free, so I'm going to intro Bill Free real quick. Would everyone please give a warm welcome to Bill Free? I learned that, and you see how the speaker warmed right up with the audience with that? That's what Toastmasters teaches, to warm the speaker up with the audience. So, anyway, today I'm going to start with a little bit of a story about three birds in a tree. And just it's a metaphor for the activity of life, the evolution of consciousness, and really where we are as, starts out as seekers of the truth, and then lovers of the truth, and the recognition of the self, which is the goal of the course. The course goal isn't mind training. The course uses mind training to point us and to lead us to know thyself. Not as a person, not as a body, but as pure presence, pure consciousness. And the metaphor of the three birds, this is just symbolic. There's three birds in a tree, and this bottom bird, I think I named him. Oh yeah, this This is busy Barney. This is busy Barney. Barney has a wife and children, or maybe Barney's just single. Maybe Barney is Debbie. So this is a person in time and space that hasn't a clue about the invisible realm, the eternalness of what really is their essence. This person is just busy punching a time clock in time and space and is very happy there. I know people that when you tell them these spiritual principles and you say, like, I remember when I first found the Course, this was so funny, still funny to me. I told this guy that worked for me at that time, he worked for me for about 6 or 7 years. And he watched me go from this born again Christian. It was at the church, at least once a week, if not 3 times a week. And he watched me pick up the Course. He watched me just do a flip. And I'd say to this guy, this is hell. Hell's not like when the body dies. This is actually hell right here. His answer was, this is hell? Pretty nice place. Pretty nice place. He's having a happy dream, and he's still the dreamer of the dream. And I love this guy. I had lunch with him maybe 6 months ago, 10 months ago. I love him like a brother. And he is so very happy here. But this is busy Barney in the dream. And then the second bird right here, we'll call this is Worldview Victoria. Worldview Victoria is, she is watching busy Barney. And she's going, there must be more than this. There must be something else. And that was my question. That was my question even as a little 10-year-old. Is this it? I can't believe a little 10-year-old had that question, but he did. He's going, is this it? Because you would hear about people dying, and then it was the USSR and the World War III, and people were building these bunkers in their backyard, stocking them with food and stuff. It's scary. It was scary. But I would go, is this all there is? And that was Worldview Victoria and Bill, and put a name on it. But it also was the curious one. This one's not curious at all. This one's like happy. I got this great job, or I love living on the street, whatever. This is just ignorance right here, and not in a meaningful way. It's just ignorant of other things. This is a curious person. This is the curious one that is looking for the truth. And when you ask questions like that, there's a miracle behind really great questions. Just self-inquiries, contemplation, questions that contemplate. Like if you ever wonder, if you ever use, when you lose something, if you go with the mindset, oh man, where is that? I know I left it here. Where did I leave that? And that you're so filled with this energy of you can't find this thing. But when you relax and you say, I wonder where I put that. Now you've got millions of helpers looking for it with you, and they will find it. I wonder where I put that. Just posing a question into consciousness. And the same thing happens here. I wonder what the truth is. For me, I desperately, at an early age, in my mid-20s, I needed to get away from alcohol and drug use that I picked up when I was 13 years old. It was a way of life. My friends did, everyone I knew did it, and I got caught in it, and I couldn't get off the train. But I got off the train by looking for a spiritual answer, Jesus at the time, which was what made me a born again for many years, but pulled me out of the drug scene. I'm very happy about that. But it was a seeking mind. It was someone that wanted something different than the status quo, than what has been going on. And this is the seeker. This is each one of us that found the course, that's watching this and going, I don't think so. There must be something else. And then once in a while, there's another bird right here. This bird on this branch is pure awareness. This one is always turned on. It's turned on for this one. It's turned on for this one. Awareness is always in the background. It's never not present. And awareness, when someone says to go within, just pause and be aware with no judgment, because awareness is just present. Awareness can't judge, but awareness can't be absent from judgment. Awareness is aware of all experience. And when you are, and this is why the topic for today is important to understand these principles when you get to understanding what the Course says about rules for decision. What I was saying a minute ago, where if I make no decisions by myself, today I'll make no decisions by myself, I'll make all my decisions with God. And that it's so simple. This principle of asking and receiving and knowing, going from perception to knowledge, from perception to, from perceiving to knowing. It's so simple that we miss it. It's so simple on making decisions. What should I do with this? I don't know whether to go to this school or this school. Well, let me see what this school's all about. Let me see what this school's all about. Let me do the stats and figure it. Oh, okay. This one offers this. This one offers this. This one's $50,000 a year. This one's 40. This one, blah blah blah. All of these choice. You think all of this study time, so totally right here and invested in the mind that you can't get an intuitive knowing. You can't get it from there, because you think you know it. You got this, right? I got this. Well, sometimes you got this just means you're operating from certainty, and other times you got this means you're operating from the personal self identity that thinks it's got this thing figured out. You're so smart. You got this. Well, I think this is the circles that I have. This is what I want to talk about in what I'm calling the art of decision making. The art of decision making is based on what the Course says in right before Rules for Decision. See if I can find this. Rules for Decision is chapter 30, and it starts off with the title, The New Beginning. So this is a new beginning, but it doesn't, even though they've got it sectioned in the CE edition, the purple book, as the beginning of chapter 30, and also the same in the FIP version, the beginning is chapter 30, the new beginning. The rules for decision, this is just a continuation of chapter 29, where he first takes you to the section that says, what is an idol? What is an idol? And when I think of that, when I first read it, I'm going, oh, that sounds like I'm worshiping something that's like another god, another deity, right? Well, this is an idol. If I'm depending on Bill and how smart he is, or if I'm depending on a reference of the past, or thinking that I know how to do this because I've been trained, or if I'm using some kind of a how smart I am mechanism for knowing what to do, I have made bill an idol. Or it says here, it says, what is an idol? Do you think you know? For idols are unrecognized as such and never seen for what they really are. That is the only power that they have. Their purpose is obscure, and they are feared and worshipped both, because you do not know what they are for and why they have been made. An idol, this is the definition that the Course gives for an idol. An idol is an image of you. This is page 867 in the Purple Book. Are you in the Purple Book? Awesome. 867. Right in the first section that's above section 2. An idol is an image of your brother, which you would value more than what he is. Idols are made that they may be replaced no matter what their form. Idols are made that he may be replaced, your brother, no matter what their form. And it is this which never is perceived and recognized, be it a body, or a thing, or a place, a situation, a circumstance, an object owned, or wanted, or a right demanded. I demand this. I'm the president. I say what goes. Damn it. I'm in charge. I'm a dictator of this company. I'm running things. A right demanded or achieved, it is the same. Let not their form deceive you. Idols are but substitutes for your reality. And then I'm going to skip down. So does everyone have a picture of what an idol is? It's like everything. It's everything in time and space. It's everything that is perishable. It's everything that we think is important to us, everything we value. It's kind of like a general special relationship, whatever you have a special relationship with. And this could be an idol. If you get stuck on this and you don't really have, I mean, you can read things from this, and it can be your go-to place for your connection with Source. But this isn't your connection with Source. Don't make it an idol. This is but a portal to take you to the direct experience. And the direct experience is to experience yourself as spirit. Can you hold the question? Okay, thanks. So the idea that I wanted to share with you, it says, right after that section on idols, this is the dream of judgment. It says, this is the penalty, talking about all of these idols and not looking within. Looking within is the blue sky. Remember? Looking within is the awareness with no judgment. It's like taking a photograph of everything you see with the body's eyes and just letting the photograph tell you what's there. Well, guess what? The photograph doesn't label anything. It doesn't tell you what a color is. You have to put that interpretation on that photograph. But the photograph itself is just aware. It's aware. It's informing. Awareness is also spirit. And awareness informs the mind that an event happened, and then the mind names it. That's what it does. And when the mind that is connected with spirit is joined with spirit, the mind, that would be the right mind. That mind knows not true, not true, not true. It judges right-mindedly. And spirit is just aware presence. And we always have that. That is always turned on. You can't turn that off. That's always turned on. This is the penalty for looking not within, for certainty, and for a quiet calm which liberates you from the world and lets you stand apart in quiet and in peace unlimited. So this is the penalty. The idols, the objective reality, or making objects your world, your identity, making objects the place that you react from, is taking the place of reality for you. It's a substitute for reality. And this is where the magic happens in making decisions with your higher self, with awareness. And awareness is available right now. I'll prove it to you. Is there anyone in here that's not aware? Please raise your hand if you're not aware. Live streamers, is there anybody out there that is not aware? Please type in right now. If you're not aware, type on the board for Bonnie that, no, I'm not aware.
Aware of what?
Does it matter? I didn't say, what are you aware of? I said, are you aware? Can you answer that? Yes or no? No, I didn't ask you what of. I said, are you aware? Yes or no? Yes or no? You're refusing to answer?
But it's a big question. Like,
No, it's not a big question, Linda. You're just refusing to answer the obvious.
Oh,
It's true.
I don't want to get it wrong.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Thank you. It's true though, right?
Whatever you say.
No, it's not whatever I say. I'm asking to prove to you.
Conversation going on that's not going on here.
Oh, okay, you're right.
This room.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, we should have a microphone for this. Yeah, yeah, that's okay. Yeah. So the answer is, are you aware? You can't say no. I mean, I guess you could say no. You could do what Linda wanted to do, and she likes to play with the words and try to be, what is that, contrarian? She likes to do that sometimes just to play with us, but that's okay. Here's what I was talking about a little while ago when I said that Jesus talks about the clouds and the sun. He says, this is right after that section that says, this is the penalty for looking not within, for certainty and for a quiet calm, which liberates you from the world and lets you stand apart in quiet and be in peace unlimited. He says, I'm trying to find an idol is a false impression or a false belief, some form of antichrist. I love that term, antichrist. We used to accuse people of being an antichrist, not knowing what that was, which constitutes a gap between the Christ and what you see. An idol is a wish made tangible and given form, and thus perceived as real, seen outside the mind. Yet they remain ideas and cannot leave the mind that is their source, nor is their form apart from the idea it represents. All forms of Antichrist oppose the Christ and fall before his face like a dark veil which seems to shut you off from him alone in darkness. Yet the light is there.
We did get some no's and not awares.
Oh, we did?
In case you're interested.
Oh, cool, I
I
am.
want to address them. There was a few.
Okay, good. We'll work with that in just a minute. Thank you. Bonnie just said that we did get some no's on the board and some not sure's. And so we'll look at that. We'll look at those no's and those not sures, and we'll investigate that a little bit. But it says, yet the light is there. And so that's the premise. That's what I'm saying, that awareness is always on. That's the light. That is the within. That is spirit. That is Christ. That is God. That's what God is. God is present. God is present as awareness. When you look on anything, when you're looking on it with what God is. And as spirit, awareness, presence, the mind will interpret what you're looking on based on where or who or what it believes that it is. And if you're not connected with spirit, if you're only connected with the body and idols, everything that you interpret is going to be based on the personal self, the past or the future, idols, and the body and the world. It's going to be, the communication is going to be going this way only, and you're going to be saying, yeah, I know what to do. I got this. No problem. Well, the Course says when we make decisions from there, we will be wrong. When we make decisions over here, how do we do this? How do we make decisions here instead of here? This is the simplest part of what I'm going to say today. Do we have any ideas, any clues? Anybody want to put their hand up and give it a shot? How do we make decisions from here? Well, this is what I do. When I make decisions from here, I look at what the idol is. I look at what the personal self investment is. What's the value to the personal self? I look at fear of something that I remember happened before, or something that I'm concerned about what might happen from this decision. I look at all of those things, only I pause right here, and I become aware, just aware. Now, awareness doesn't have an opinion. It just is an acknowledgement of what you are. It's an acknowledgement of God presence. It's an acknowledgement of pure light. It's an acknowledgement of Jesus. If you want to bring it with Jesus, Jesus is right there. He's already got this figured out. He's outside of the box of time and space. He's right there. His physical form isn't going to do that, but consciousness in the symbol of Jesus will come and meet you where you are. Buddha, though Muhammad, any of the great teachers from the East, all of those beings, they're still present right here with us. Because there's no distance that spirit is not. There's no time and space involved. So when I'm making, this is how easy and how simple it is to make a decision with spirit. You can't do it without the invitation. It is not going to say, oh, wait a minute, you're making a mistake here, because then it's making the mistake real, and it's stepping into time and space. That's impossible. Okay, so you have to have a willingness to see things differently. You have to have a willingness to ask and an invitation to spirit. And an invitation doesn't mean, okay, you don't have to use the word Holy Spirit. You don't have to use the word Buddha. If you just pause and acknowledge awareness, you're acknowledging the truth. You're acknowledging the light that you are. And sometimes if you're really agitated, if you're upset, if you're deeply into an experience that's caught you off guard, which it happens to all of us, my recommendation is that you pause and take your attention off of the idol. Take your attention off of the idol and put your attention on just being aware. Even if you're upset, you're looking at how upset you are, just be willing to look at it and don't judge yourself. Just be looking directly at the upset, the situation. If you're deeply into the emotions of it, just be looking at the emotions. And whatever is happening right here will be melting like an ice cube in warm water as you do that. You stay there and you stay there and you stay there until the peace is returned. Until you can, and sometimes you need a coach. Sometimes you need a mighty companion. That's okay too, because sometimes this is just, you're so fearful or you're so deeply into it that you just can't do it without. And I found myself in that situation when Lisa and I were going through our marital stuff. We talked about this on the Living in Purpose call last week. When we were going through that stuff, we were here, man. We weren't even, we saw glimpses of this, but we were spending a lot of energy right down here. We needed a mighty companion, and we had mighty companions that showed up for us. We were. I feel that they were inspired to us, for us. You have a glimpse of this. Even this. Okay, I can flip this way. This guy right here, Worldview Victoria. She looks up and she sees this presence of awareness. She looks up, she sees it up there, but she just doesn't spend any time looking up there. So she's got this handled. She's working on it. Well, if you're giving this your attention, you're going to stay in your suffering longer. But when you can just be quiet, this is what I did, even in the midst of really heated moments with Lisa. We'd be sitting in the living room after, having 20, 30 minutes of back and forth discussion that was, high energy, the kind you don't want. And then I would but she wouldn't leave and I wouldn't leave. And I would put my hand on my heart and I would just be present in awareness. And all of a sudden, a new experience would come in. We would both recognize it. Even though 5 minutes ago it was not good. And when we just sat quiet, no more words, sat present, all of a sudden something new came in. We took our attention off of this, we put our attention over here, and the mind no longer was separate, working as a separate self. It was joined with its true identity in God. And I found that experience for me in awareness, in that awareness experience. I haven't forgotten about you guys that said no. I'll be right there. The New Beginning chapter in the Rules for Decision. It says, the new beginning now becomes the focus of the curriculum. A goal is clear, but now you need specific methods for attaining it. The speed by which it can be reached is individual, depending on only this, your willingness to practice every step. So the course is really inviting us, really encouraging us, imploring us to practice these ideas so that we can get out of this attention to the idols, so that we can take our attention off of this experience right here that catches us off guard and that really limits our ability to be free. It limits our ability to have joy and happiness. And the goal of the Course, besides to know thyself, is inner peace. The goal of the Course is peace. And the goal of all of the curriculum of the Course is peace. The goal of taking your attention off of this and putting it and going into that quiet space is peace. Because in peace you find happiness. In peace you find your experience of joy and the self. And when you find that place of inner peace, you can't hold on, you can't keep it. You have to share it with others. It's contagious. You have to, and it's so contagious that people, they light up when they see it. I mean, maybe you might scare people if you're a little bit too animated, but Cheryl? Oh, Shirley?
Yes. Bill, isn't it true, like when you're in that place where you and Lisa had all of this negativity going on, that when you pause and you go to a place of peace, you can bring that other person there with you?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I watched Lisa go there with me every single time.
Yeah.
And I went there with her as she would do it. She doesn't have the same practice that I have. She has a different one. She has to like get quiet, totally be quiet alone. And I have a different method where everyone knows that I put my hand on my heart. Go ahead.
Okay, we have Linda Leland and Lisa online, and they're answering a lot of questions. They're really great online, and I just wanted to let you know that Lisa said, I can't find it, but she's like, that's a long time ago. We haven't had those problems.
Well, that's true, but
yeah.
we used the conversation in a talk we had last week as it related to this special relationship. And the reason that it's important to use it, why it's valuable today, is so that people can know that we as teachers can be following the Course for 10, 20, 30 years and still have these experiences. And we're not, we haven't like translated beyond the veil. We still have, and in fact, I feel that that's why, the special relationship is that invites the Holy Spirit, that invites Spirit to be in charge. You're going to find any of this stuff, any kind of hidden fear, doubt, buried guilt, shame, blame, whatever, that is in your unconscious mind, you're going to find it in that special relationship so that you can release it. And so that's the value, and that's why the Course is so clear in chapter 17 when it talks about the healed relationship, where Jesus says, hold on, fasten your seatbelt, buckle up, and the ego will tell you, break up with this guy or this girl. Let's leave this situation. This is getting too crazy, too hot. I'm leaving you, only to be repeated again by someone else, some other circumstance that's going to bring up all of that buried stuff that you are deciding at that moment to hold on to. But sometimes it gets, we filed divorce papers, so we were pretty close to doing that. It's the real deal. That really does happen. But the cool thing is that if you have, it doesn't have to happen. I know other spiritual teachers that actually did go through and, they're not together anymore. They had new partners and it happens all over again, just like that. That's the way it. So are there other questions online that I need to address?
They're really answering them.
Oh, they are. So the question.
Just saying.
Oh, just saying. Yeah. Well, that's because she wants to hold the integrity of the personal self, believe it or not. That's the personal self identity that wants to be identified as, oh, that was then, it's not now. So even though that's a valid statement, and I love you, babe, but that's where it's coming from. Linda?
I had an example yesterday because my daughter and her friend, we go in Market Basket, and they wanted, I had these different values, and she wanted this $1.50 thing that, you could buy the whole thing for $1.50, and then, chocolate. And then the other one wanted gummies. And then I just didn't want to buy sugar or whatever. I just said no. And then I'm thinking, later on, I said, oh my God, all I wanted was a little thing to satisfy. And I said no. And so I felt so bad. And then I said, well, maybe next time I'll just go out and get it. And because I felt guilty. And, I just wanted to resolve that. I don't want to be. And then this whole discipline thing, it's just like I was trying to assert my discipline, which I haven't been doing, it's like, so afterwards, I'm trying to be not judgmental and be my spirit, I don't know, free flowing. The funny thing is, my son was there. He got the sugar in there, and I didn't even notice it. It's like, it just was weird.
So is there a question?
How afterwards you can resolve it, like how you think about it after it continues,
Yeah.
even though it was
Yeah.
an event,
Right.
it's still going on
Right.
in my mind.
Right.
I still want to resolve kind of the body.
Yeah. Right now?
Yeah, I want to go out. Yeah.
So you're saying that situation that
Yeah.
happened whenever
Yesterday.
is still, are you still feeling guilty for it?
Yeah, I didn't like it. Well, I talked to my daughter. I did the best, but I still think about it.
Okay, so you're coming from the past.
Yeah.
So what's happening here?
Think
You're
about it.
identifying with the personal self identity,
Decision.
bringing something from the past to say that it was true and real, right?
Yeah.
So you can change that.
It's not. Okay.
How did I say to change it? How do you
Right.
resolve this? You take the feeling of feeling guilty or like you wanted something to be different or whatever occurred,
Yeah.
and you pause
Yeah.
and you just be in that quiet space until there's peace, until peace is found. Or hang on to it and stay and keep suffering. It's really just a choice. It's a decision that you make. You're choosing the ego to be your guide, or you're choosing spirit to be your guide. And
So you saying let go of whatever happened?
I'm saying don't do anything. I'm saying just notice your reaction to the experience with spirit and do nothing. That's where the resolve is. That's what the formula is. That's the antidote to feeling guilty. That's it. There were some comments. Are there any other questions or any other comments related to that? Does that make sense to everyone? To anyone? Andy has a question.
I just want to say it comes down to, I can't remember the name of the lesson, but I choose peace instead of this.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
pretty-
Yes. The rules for decision, Jesus has 6 steps for what he says practices. He says the speed by which it can be reached is individual, talking about the having a new beginning, having a new goal. He said, it depends on only this, your willingness to practice every step. But then he says later on to don't get too focused on making sure that each step is covered, because that's not the focus of the steps. But what I found, he says decisions are continuous. So decisions they're always occurring. And you do not always know when you're making them, but with a little practice in the ones you recognize, a mindset begins to form, which sees you through the rest. It is not wise to let yourself become preoccupied with every step you take. The proper set adopted consciously each time you wake will put you well ahead. And if you find resistance strong and dedication weak, you are not ready. So if you're not ready, if you're not using what Jesus just said as a metaphor, if you're not ready to pause, you're just not ready. You want to stay in your story, you want to stay suffering, you want to stay in the experience of feeling guilty or blaming yourself for doing something or whatever. But the antidote to not being in peace, or the antidote to any kind of conflict, any kind of problem that you have in your life, is answered in the quiet place. When you pause with whatever it is, if you have a decision to make, if you have a hard decision to make, the way to make that decision is with yourself, with your inner teacher, with presence. And all you have to do is bring the feeling that you're having into the quiet place. Presence knows what is causing that feeling. Presence knows what that anxiety is. Just look at it, non-judgmental, just look at it with presence, with awareness. And the steps, they're so funny that steps are not really steps at all. Because it says, the outlook starts with this: today I'll make no decisions by myself. Okay? I thought of that this morning when I woke up. Today I'll make no decisions by myself. You know what that does for me? That statement takes me right here. Boom. I'm done. I mean, I clicked in with God. I clicked in with awareness. I clicked in with presence. Today, I'll make no decisions. And the decision maker of the mind, and this is something that Ken Wapnick used all the time, the decision maker, the one remaining freedom that we have in time is to make decisions, to make a decision to choose the spirit over the illusion. That's our one remaining freedom in time and space. And we have that available. So when I say, today I'll make no decisions by myself, what I'm doing is I'm, as the decision maker, saying, mind, we're present. God's on the field. Today I'll make no decisions. That's the first. And he says to do it when we wake. And all through the workbook lessons, as all of you know, many of you know, that he invites us to spend the beginning 15 minutes with God. Just be quiet and present. It'll be worth it. It'll save you hours upon hours of anxiety and doing things that you needlessly do. Going in directions. I'll give you a for instance. I was helping to set the room up an hour ago, and we needed light bulbs so that we had better light right here because somebody took our light bulbs out. I ran to the grocery store, and when I got out of my truck, I could feel the hurry in my step. I could feel it. You know what I'm talking about. You're in a hurry. That's where accidents happen. That's where you step in front of cars. That's where you hit your head. That's where you do stupid stuff. Well, I checked in. I noticed that. Awareness informed me of the activity of the person that was just so totally in the mind that wasn't really present.
You weren't aware before that.
No, I was fully in awareness. I was putting all of my attention on the activity of the body and being in a hurry. I got to get back over there. I was in a hurry. And awareness brought that to my attention. It happens in a split second, and I went, oh, wow, look at that. And all of a sudden, I just said, okay, changing this up. And I just went into a relaxed, calm state. Everything happened perfectly. But that came into my attention to put my attention on being aware, presence. And when I put my attention on aware presence, automatically the mind said, okay, body, slow down. I connected with source. I connected with awareness. These are subtle little change-ups that will affect everything. I mean, and this happens all the time. Decisions are continuous. When Jesus goes to the first step, he says, if I make no decision by myself, this is the day that will be given me. And I'm going to back up on that just a minute, but if I make no decisions by myself, this is the day will be given me. What have I done by making that statement? I went right up to the blue sky again. Not the clouds. I went right up as present awareness in that first statement. He says, throughout the day, at any time you think of it and have a quiet moment for reflection, pause, tell yourself again the kind of day you want. Here's where he gets specific. The feelings you would have, the things you would want to happen to you, and the things you would experience and say, if I make no decision by myself this day, this is the day that will be given me. So he's being very specific. Doesn't mean he's talking about manifesting. He's not talking about, oh, I want to meet a man today, or I want a new car. I want to win the lottery. I want this. He's not talking about that. Oh, the feelings that you want, what feelings do you want? You're not going to say, I want to be pissed off. You're going to say, I want to be happy. I want to be in joy. I want to be in peace. But if you're specific and you say, the things that I want to happen today, I really want my kids to come over. I really want to see my grandkids. I really want to do this or that. If you'll just, in that quiet moment, bring this to spirit, bring this into the present, anything that you want to happen that day. What happens is anything that's illusory, anything that will harm you, anything that is not in harmony with divine flow, it gets burnt off right here. Your attention isn't here. It gets burnt off, and all of a sudden you go, well, I guess I really don't, I'm okay with that. Oh, your grandkids aren't coming over? Yeah, I'm okay with that. There's no charge on it, no energy on it, there's no conflict there. So he's saying, have a quiet moment for reflection first. So bring anything, and don't, if you have stuff that you want to happen, bring it all into that quiet moment. You don't have to write it down. You don't have to remember anything, because this is your divine nature. This is your true self. This thing knows everything. This thing knows the stuff that you can't remember. But the cool thing about it is when you bring whatever you bring into that pause moment is going to be cleaned up and then sent back to you in divine flow, in divine information, and you'll have certainty about it. You'll go, yeah, I know exactly what to do now. I paused and I waited. And there's a funny statement that he makes in here. He says, your problem is, I don't know if I can find it. I think he says, the problem that you have is you're making a decision and then asking. I've done that a lot. The problem that you have is that you make the decision and then you ask. If any of you guys remember the truck story that's in Living in Purpose, and I had an example of that where I had to buy this truck. The price was so low, it was thousands of dollars lower than anything I saw. The miles were low. The year was a fairly new year. I had to be the first one to it, man. I was calling that person at nighttime. Well, I want to see the truck, and I had already made the decision I'm buying that truck before I asked. And Lisa's in the middle of doing something, and I need her to drive me down to pick this truck up. We're hooking down 95 at 75. She's sitting next to me in my truck that I'm getting rid of, and she said, "Did you ask?" Did you ask about this? We're talking about this vehicle, this truck I'm going to buy. I said, I'm asking right now. I'm asking right now. I bought that truck. It was a huge lemon. I bought the truck. It was a huge lemon. It was a huge, huge lemon. I mean, I took it to my mechanic. It was going to cost, I think I paid like $3,000 for it. And it was going to cost $4,500 to fix it, to bring it to inspection. Yeah, that was my truck story. I ended up taking that truck back to the seller, parked it in their driveway, and got back into Lisa's car and left. And then I dealt with the seller, and she ended up sending me the money back. But I was going, I don't even want the truck. I hope I get my money back. I made a decision without asking. And the asking, it doesn't take, it's not a big deal. What do I want to do with this decision? Just pause and be present. And it's not like, well, God doesn't ever give an answer. You get the answer will come right away. It will come right away. And if you don't get a clear answer to the decision that you already made, don't do it. If you don't, because then you're deciding for yourself, and your decision is going to be wrong. Where's the mic? Can you give it to Kelly?
This is so funny that you're talking about this, because this morning I really wanted to be here on time. I'm late here a lot, so I actually wanted to be early, and I was all packed up for my whole weekend. I go away for the weekends. I got plans with Sandy, and I had clothes. I was putting clothes in from the washing machine to the dryer, and I turned the dryer on and nothing happened, and all my clothes are wet. And I went right to like, oh my God, I have to get everything out. I'm gonna have to go to the laundromat and stay there and put everything in the dryer. I'm gonna be late. I'm not gonna be able to do anything. And I'm like running all around, and I was just like, okay, just hold on a second, just ask. It's so funny that you're talking about this. And I asked, and I got unplug the plug and plug it back in. So I did, and I pushed the button, and it worked. And the dryer goes, okay. So then I go down a little while later to get the things out of the dryer, and it's not on. And I open it, and the stuff is still damp. It was like it ran for a while, and then it didn't. And I went right back into the thing of, oh my God, there's something wrong with the dryer. Now I'm going to have to go to the laundromat. I'm going to be late. I'm not going to be able to blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, like we've been here before, Cal. Just ask. And I asked, and I got, look at the switch box. And something had tripped the switch. I think I ran my dishwasher at the same time or whatever. I turned the switch back over, pushed the dryer thing, and it worked. And here I am.
Nice. Nice. Thank you.
It's little, but
It's practical though. It is how it works. Well, there's a kind of a, I guess the one that is the most important out of the six. The first one is, today I make no decisions by myself. If I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. And then the second one is, if you really get screwed up and you get confused, he's got a cancellation. He's got a way to cancel it. I have no questions. I forgot what to decide. I have no questions. I forgot what to decide. You can sort of cancel out the errors of your own mind. Like that's something that you did when you said, okay, wait a minute, I'm going to stop and ask. You canceled out all of the agitation of the story that was running. You canceled it out. I have no question. I forgot what to decide. So that's pretty much what you said when you forgot to ask. And then it goes on. It says, at least I can decide I do not like what I feel now. Now you're relaxing into awareness. Awareness is aware of the feeling. Awareness is aware of the agitation. Awareness is aware of me being in a hurry to go get a light bulb. Awareness is aware of that. Now you pause into that. Come into quiet. The Course is very clear in many, many places. Then it says all problems are resolved in the quiet. All problems are resolved in the silence. They're all resolved right there. But you have, that's the act of asking. That's the act of inviting your inner teacher to lead the way, instead of the personal self, objective world of things going on out there. You want peace instead of this, you have to choose it. You can't, it won't come to the agitation. Peace is not going to come to here. You have to choose it, and it'll show up for you every time. And also the answers will show up for you. Whatever is helpful for you, whatever is necessary for you to have peace, which is the goal of the teacher, whatever is necessary for you to have peace will show up for you. Now, just because the dryer worked, that just happened to work out for Kelly. But what she was really wanting was peace. That's really what she wanted. But she also wanted her clothes dried. But I think she would have taken peace any day. It says, at least I can decide I do not like how I feel. Then it says, and so I hope I have been wrong. That's a willingness to let go. A willingness to let go of a fixed location in time and space. You're relaxing back into the mind that wants peace. And then it says, I want another way to look at this. What Andy said, I can choose peace instead of this. And then finally it says, perhaps there is another way to look at this. What can I lose by asking? So those are all practices. The key component that I want to invite everyone to recognize is that you can always choose to take your attention off of this and relax into the state of presence. For you guys that said no, that you're not aware, send me an email to billfreeonline@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to work through that. Thinking that you're not aware, that's an interesting statement, that if you're not aware, how can you possibly know what's going on? How can you possibly know that you're breathing if you're not aware of it? How can you possibly know that you're hungry if you're not aware that you're hungry? How can you possibly not be aware? I don't know how that's possible. But thank you guys for joining with us, live streamers. We've run out of time. In fact, I think we went a little bit past.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.